infection actually turns against you. And that's an enigma. Scientists don't understand how autoimmune diseases get turned on. My lab does basic research to try to understand what cells are involved, how the cells make mistakes, and instead of attacking foreign pathogens. And for those of you who are not familiar with autoimmunity, it's a situation where your body's immune system, which normally protects you. Michael Carroll, I'm a scientist at Boston Children's Hospital, and I run a research laboratory. And one of the research things we do in this lab, we study autoimmune disease. So of course, research is a team effort, and one of the leaders of this team is Kees van der Poel, who I'd like to introduce. He's a fellow in the laboratory.
Form clusters where they start to respond against, for instance, when you get a flu shot, but they can also start. So one of the most important cells that is involved in autoimmune diseases are called B cells. So these are a type of white blood cells, and they forming these clusters when you start to when you have an autoimmune disease and you start responding against your own body. Because, or in part of, because these cells are dividing, but it also happens when you're responding against yourself if you have an autoimmune disease. At this response, and so this is a response that happens when you're responding against, for instance, flu, when you get sick and your lymph nodes start to swell. That's mainly. So here you'll see a cluster of these cells, and they're actively dividing and selecting to become even better. And then look on the computer here how that images build up over time. One way to do that is using this microscope, and we can actually image part of the tissue. So one way how we can look at these cells is with this microscope, and we can actually make 3D reconstructions of the whole cluster of these cells. And so when we're imaging, it will look something like this, where the microscope goes through the tissue and slowly builds up the image of these clusters of cells, and then later on we can convert this to a 3D image. Alright, so these cells were engineered to have all kinds of different colors, and that was done by a collaborator of ours, Gabriel Victora. And matures, as we say, one cell will win, and the germinal cell and this cluster of cells become one color. So in the beginning of the immune response, all these cells will have different colors, and as they compete with each other, as the immune response.
Hi, I'm Søren. I'm currently in Denmark, and what you're seeing on the screen in front of you is a 3D rendering of a germinal center.
So the excitement around this observation that Kees and Søren has made is that in the past, scientists haven't really understood where these cells, so that one B cell actually competes against the others to win. And how they compete and make autoantibodies. And now we know they're in these clusters and that they're actually evolving. We would like to go with this, obviously, is to develop a therapeutic that could be given to patients who have this autoimmune disease.